Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. We are going to go through a full glute lower body workout. This is what I've been incorporating since the gyms have been closed. If you live in Ontario, this is the third round, I think. Oh my gosh, I'm losing count. But anyways, we're going to start with a warm-up. Typically skip rope or jump rope is my go-to when I'm not in the gym. Normally I would go towards like the Stairmaster, typical, I know. We're going to do some of these like hip circles, if you want to call them, just loosening up the hips and moving our muscles. From listening and watching a lot of professional YouTubers, it's become apparent that doing active stretching before your workout is more beneficial than doing static stretches, which would be just holding your leg in one position the whole time, or one body part in the same position the whole time, if that makes sense. So you really want to be moving while stretching, active movements, if you want to call them that. It's been a while since I posted a video, so please bear with me. We're obviously starting with our most important lift at the beginning. I think I cannot stress that enough, is really prioritizing your most strenuous exercise at the beginning. I am trying to still continue with progressive overload even at home, although I have surpassed these weights, which, yay! I'm just gonna be adding more resistance by pausing at the top, as you can see here. And then we're just gonna add slightly more weight as we go on. Really make sure that you're at a 90-degree angle with your ankles and your knees. I think that really targets the glutes the most instead of the hamstrings or quads. If you start feeling them in the quads or hamstrings, you're most likely not at a 90-degree angle and need to adjust, depending on what your goals are, unless you want to hit your quads or hamstrings. I'm not here to judge. I do have to point out, I am testing a pair of leggings I'm going to do a review on at the end of the month, hopefully, or maybe towards mid-February. Everything's kind of up in the air right now. It depends on when I get the second package. But I'm testing them out, and so far so good throughout this workout. They're very buttery soft, almost like an Align Lululemon dupe. So I'm really excited to bring the full review to you sooner than later, hopefully. But we are going to move on to, of course, deadlifts. I feel like I go from hip thrusts to deadlifts because it's easier for setup. Like if I were to go into squats, then I would have to take all the weight off and put them on the bars or on the squat rack. This way, it's just, get them done and then take all the weight off and put it back on. But yeah, I love my deadlifts now. It was a struggle at first, but we're working our way up with proper form, of course. That is number one. I think it's really hard to say, oh, you need to do it a certain way, your fitness journey at the beginning, because that's how you learn, is through mistakes. And looking back at my old videos, there were so many mistakes and I wouldn't have learned them. I think people told me my mistakes, but I didn't fully grasp and take the most out of it until I learned it myself, until it took me, not seeing progress or getting slightly injured to realize something needs to change. Now, it is interesting moving from my gym, which only offers, Smith machines, versus free weights at home. I kind of like alternating between the two even when the gyms are open, because you're really working far more muscles if you have to use free weights, in my opinion. But yeah, it's really cool to alternate between the two. It's challenging. We worked our quads and now it's time for hamstrings. This is a creative way that I found to use our cable machine. It definitely works. I wish, there was a bench, because it's really hard to not bend your back unless you have that really nice, purposeful bench at the gym. So lots of, patience when it comes to this one, and practice, and not to overload with weight. Now that I'd say the primary movements are completed, we're going to go into accessory movements, which was kind of what the hamstring curl was anyway. But I chose for this day to do good mornings. I really like them as an alternative to straight leg deadlifts. I just find I feel the stretch in my hamstring a lot more. And what I understand the good morning to be is to push your hips back as far as possible to feel that stretch in your hamstring. You don't want to just lower your back just for the sake of lowering your back. And I feel this way about straight leg deadlifts as well. I've had a couple comments saying, oh, if you bend your knees a little bit farther, you can reach the floor. But I personally don't have that as my goal. I want to feel this stretch in my hamstring, and I only go as far down as I need to until I feel that, and then, drive the weight with that muscle using mind to muscle connection. So that's just my take on those kind of movements, stretcher movements, if you want to call them that. And I can't forget about my kicks. I love the side kick, back kick superset. So that's what we're doing here. We're gonna do like 12 to 15 reps side kick and then go straight into a straight leg back kick. So what that means is when you're performing the back kick, you're not changing your knee position at all. So you're not like bringing your knee closer to your stomach and then pushing it out and straightening your leg. If that makes sense, you're keeping a consistent position. So you're using the same muscle throughout the entire range of motion. And we're gonna finish off today's workout with stretching, of course, static stretching, which is where you're holding your muscles in one place, as far as I know. I pretend like I know what I'm saying, but I'm just a regular person trying my best and figuring out my body the same as you probably. But yeah, this is the end of the video. Hope you guys have a great day and feel motivated after this.